the actual title of the live is wrong. I don't even have my settings set up. I was a little bit behind tonight. It's a new time slot. It's a new time for me. So anyway, just give me a second while I continue to set up. So the beginning of it for everybody may be just a little bit boring. Just a teeny tiny bit boring. So, but just hang on. If you stick around, I'm sure we'll get it all set up and then we'll be good. Or, you know, this is the one where we had to do some changes. I do hope that my phone sticks around. I'm not sure if it will. If not, go to my other channel, which is Sharia and Lorian, and you can continue watching it there. I do broadcast to both channels, but my phone is being kind of wonky. I keep overheating it. Okay, we're almost there, guys. Okay. We're getting it. My friends and I, when we are doing stuff like this and the phone's going all over the place or the picture or whatever, we're like, whoa, like you're going on a roller coaster ride. So you could just pretend that for a moment. So we're going to talk about the living sky and what we're looking at for this week for transits. Now, when I say the living sky, I mean true sidereal, and I actually mean if you look in the sky at where the planets are, this is where they would be, not somewhere frozen in time 2,000 years ago. Just hang on, I have to decline invites. Okay, to make sure that everyone is actually live, because sometimes I only go and start half of it. I don't press the rest of it and get it going. So we're going to talk about the living sky. We're going to talk about the transits that we're going to go through. We do have a new moon on March 3rd, a new moon in Leo. And in tropical astrology, it may be saying something different, but according to where the moon is in the sky and all of that, anyway, we're having a new moon in the sign of Leo. So what was I going to say? We're going to go through all these transits and talk about it, talk about the energy, how to work with it, because it does affect us all. Or everything is energy. It doesn't matter whether you're talking spiritually or you're talking quantumly or, you know, how you're approaching it. So just flow with it. Just flow with it. Okay. That's really hot right now. Really hot right now. Okay, so let's look at what we're dealing with the sky. I have to set up my screen here, and that means that I have to take this and put it over here so I have a better chance of seeing the comments on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so this will be a weekly thing at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about the energies that we're experiencing through the week. And I'm basing this on the actual sky, the living sky, and where the planets are. Okay, get me to my show notes because I have to keep on track or else I'll forget everything that I want to talk about. Because it's the beginning of the month, I want to give you a whole viewpoint of what's coming for the entire month energetically. And when I'm doing astrology or talking about planets, like I said already, it's based on true sidereal, it's based on the living sky. And I call it Christic because I released the distortions, or I removed the distortions from a bunch of the things that were there. Okay, so our March month segment, this is our overview. Before we get into the weekly breakdown, we're just going to give you the whole run through of the month. Okay, so understanding the larger pattern of the month is going to help the weekly movements, put them into context for you so that the individual transits are going to make more sense. So that's why I want to do the month look ahead at the beginning of the month. As you know, we'll be doing this every Sunday. So as close to the beginning of the month, I will be doing the month look ahead. All right, so we begin the month in Aquarius. That's where the sun is. The sun is sitting in the sign of Aquarius, and it's going to transit into Pisces on March 12th. This shift moves the collective field, because this is we're talking about collectively here. It moves the collective field from innovation, which is that Aquarius energy, that systems thinking and collective awareness, because Aquarius is concerned about the collective, about humanity. And it switches it to Pisces energy, which is this intuition and emotional depth and spiritual reflection. And it's also internal alignment. So the first third of the month, therefore, is emphasizing that vision and collective direction, while the later half of the month encourages integration, compassion, and inner clarity, because we're switching between those two energies with the sun. Mercury is spending most of the month in Pisces before it goes retrograde into Aquarius on March 10th. This is going to create a powerful mental recalibration period, because that's what a retrograde is. It's recalibration opportunity. Say hi. So when we do this, the themes that are likely to appear are going to be, we're revisiting conversations, right? This is Mercury, it's communication. We are going to be reconsidering the decisions that we made earlier in the year, right? And that's just refinement. We're looking at what were those decisions that the plans that we had made that maybe they're not in alignment with us anymore. Maybe we didn't actually achieve it or check it off our list, and it's not a bad thing. It's just maybe just not in alignment anymore, and so let it go. Those things can draw that subtle energy because you're just leaking it, right? You're leaking it through all those untied, loose ends, and those commitments that you haven't finished. All right. So the other thing it's going to do is it's going to ask you to review your plans that are related to community or collaborative projects, because we have Aquarius energy at play. So we work with both of those. So rather than seeing this as a disruption, it can be approached as an opportunity for refinement and correction, right? Just refining your energy so you're not leaking it or losing it or wasting it, just spending it on, things that aren't relevant. That's what we're doing in our spiral of life, is we're just refining ourselves. Venus movement is going to begin the month entering into Pisces on the 2nd, so tomorrow. And then it briefly moves into a planet that they really don't talk about in mainstream astrology, and that's called Cetus on March 11th, before it goes back into Pisces on the 13th. Venus in Pisces emphasizes compassion and emotional connection and creativity and also spiritual relationships. So it can heighten your sensitivity, that's Pisces, and it can also heighten your empathy. But it also requires you to have healthy boundaries to prevent emotional overwhelm. So a lot of people are going to require some, real practices to help soothe their nervous system, to help really bring them back to ground, right? Because it's a lot of energy that we're dealing with Pisces, and collectively what's going on. If you don't have clear boundaries with your energy and with your emotions, then you're at risk of being overwhelmed with what's going on in society or with what's going on around you in your home or your family or work environment. So Mars is moving, it remains in Aquarius throughout March after just entering it at the end of February. It takes longer for it to transit through transit through the celestial bodies. So this is keeping the collective momentum high, and it's encouraging collaboration, innovation, and group initiatives. However, it can also amplify ideological disagreements when the communication is lacking clarity. So whatever conversations you're having this week or in the month of March, just make sure that you're being as clear as you possibly can, So that there's that approach for understanding. We also have the constructive use of Mars in Aquarius, which is building collaborative projects, sharing knowledge, and contributing to community solutions. And we need a lot of that right now. There's a lot of just like a lot of chaos that's out there. So we do need to be looking at the solutions for community collectively, and not just for one person, but for all of humanity. That's Aquarius energy. The major lunar events that we're going to experience through March are, first, we're going to have our lunar eclipse full moon in Leo. Yes, full moon in Leo. I have for some reason, I just twisted it and I had new moon in my mind and I was just like, it's new moon. How did I write the note wrong? And then I was like, no, you've been backwards for a bit now and you've been trying to correct it. It is a full moon that we're coming into on March 3rd. This eclipse it's going to be a beautiful opportunity to see it too. It'll be a blood moon. So you'll be able to see it in the sky as long as you have clear skies. And there's quite a long transition period of it. If you're curious, just look up the moon, like the full moon eclipse, lunar eclipse on March 3rd for your region and what the best time for viewing it is. For many of us, it'll be early in the morning. I think mine's it's around 4 to 5 a.m., which is doable. I get up a lot of times at 5 anyway. So it's not too hard to wind it back a little bit just to get the peak time of the moon. Thank you so much for my shot. How are you doing? How are you doing? Like, how are you doing, love? And I barely got it out. I don't know if it even sounded like love. So after we have that full moon lunar eclipse in Leo, then we're going to, on March 18th, have a new moon in Pisces. So those are the two major lunar events that we're experiencing. The eclipse is going to be illuminating themes of leadership, identity, and authentic self-expression. Okay, so with the authentic, think of Leo energy. Leo is driven by their heart, by passion, and they are can be prone to pride if they're not careful. But they are about authenticity, and that's a big thing. A big characteristic of Leo energy is that represents of that radiant sun energy, that solar expression. The March 18th new moon in Pisces is going to be encouraging emotional reset and spiritual reflection, as well as intuitive direction. And a lot of us have been missing that. If my dog gets really loud, I'm going to have to pause for a second and go and check on it. Yeah. How are you doing? I'm going to be going live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So this time on Sunday evenings, and a half an hour later on Wednesday, two different concepts of what I'll be talking about. But on Sunday nights, it's all about the celestial alignments according to the living sky. And because it's March 1st, I'm doing a whole entire month look ahead. But yeah, how are you doing? Just release it. Allow yourself to release it. Right? She's never truly gone. Never truly gone. I know. She likes to talk through me. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I should be explaining what's. I'm just talking to someone on TikTok. I have two different TikTok channels going, as well as two Facebook channels, and then two YouTube channels and a Facebook channel. No, You don't have to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for. And someone that I've known for a while is talking to me, and her mom likes to speak through me. I get very clear, typically very clear messages from her mom. But she's never gone, sweetie. You know how much she loves you. Mm-hmm. So these two phases, well, we always will see, right? If she feels like giving me a message, and then I'll deliver it to you for sure. She does know. She knows. She's been there the whole time. Sometimes we don't realize the ways that we've been saved, right? I got into the habit of calling anybody that did anything that was kind or helpful to me an angel helper. And some people may become uncomfortable with that. I'm not religious. I don't prescribe to any religion. I do believe that there are truths in all religion, but that there's also distortions that are very well within all religions. So, I define as I have spirituality, right? Yeah, and it's in those little moments I think about how all of these things, like, we always have that free will to make those decisions, right? So I could turn left or I could turn right. And remember, we used to have those stories where you would choose a decision, like you'd make a decision and you choose to go left, go to page 23, and you would read 23, and then you would get to the end of the end of a couple of pages, and it would give you another question, and between the choice that you would have, you would go to a different part, and the story would evolve in a different way based on your choices, right? Well, that's really what we're doing. And as in the book, all those choices existed, right? So all those potentialities exist for all of us all the time. So sometimes the choices that we're making are not our best. We are inundated with stressors. We are, whatever it is, we chose to follow our ego and not pay attention to the direction that our oversoul was giving us, our higher self, whatever terminology you feel comfortable with. But that instruction from our soul telling us this is the direction to go, and our ego's like, go this way, and we're like, oh yes, and we follow. That's us making a decision. So the journey that we get is just more colorful, but there's supports all the way through that help you to do that. Your mom talks to you all the time. She talks to you all the time. I'm glad it meant the world to you, sweetheart. She talks to you all the time. She does. You can hear her. Hi, Crystal. You can hear her. When we sit still enough and we're silent enough, then we can hear things. Yeah. That's her reminding you she's never gone. She's always there, and she's speaking to you. That is her saying, yeah, exactly. That's your mom. She's telling you, right? You don't need me to speak to her. She speaks to you, guiding you always. And who better? Who better? She's the tough love, right? That's why she and I really connected, because she feels that I have that same energy, right? Hard truths. Sometimes it's what you need. She is. You know it. You know it. You don't even have to question it. You know. She's 100%. 100%. Like I have like like I can feel like 100% she's proud of how far you've come in life. And she can't wait to see how far you're going to go. She's going to make me cry. I'm just going to tell you that. So, thank you. Okay. Nice. I just had to thank her and just ask her to pull back a little bit because I don't feel like crying right now. She's there with you, sweetie. Always. All right. So we've got 2 powerful moon phases. We're going to get back to our hourly thing. I'm fantastic. I was going around my house singing to all my plants, telling them that I love them, and talking about loving my life, because I really am. I even put my post up today was to remember to love your life. Love your life. It doesn't matter where it is, what you're doing, how it looks. Love it, because why not? I know that might sound, and I've been through a lot of trauma in my child. Like I had a horrible life. I've talked about it before on like of the traumas that I experienced. But I look back on everything now and I just think how incredible and like how just incredible my life is, and all the different things that I've gotten to experience, and by my own choices. Some of them, in the moments that I experienced them, they hurt so bad. Right? They were so big, they were so whatever. In every moment they were something. But this moment is my favorite. Besides I have to say the obligatory, when I had both my kids, and absolutely holding your babies in your arms, that is like, in all the moments of being a mom, like every moment that's my favorite, one of my favorite things. But this moment in my life as an adult woman who lives on her own, who, has built this beautiful company and who has a nonprofit helping the homeless after all this time, and just like everything. Like I love my life. I love myself. I've let go of the stuff that, was pointless and silly, and I let go of the stuff that was painful and dark and deep. And you just keep peeling back all those layers. Peel your onion. And if it makes you cry, oh well, just let it go. Let it cleanse your soul. And then let it go. Just let it go. And love your life. Love your life. Build a life that you love. Right? Let it go. Exactly. Let it go. If I was more confident in my singing, I would sing it. I need my friend Carol. Carol. She could sing it. I think my other friend could sing it too. Shaunalee, could you sing it? I'm just not confident enough. I could sing it if I was singing along with it. Of course, Carol could sing it, right? It's in the name. It's in the name alone. All right. So we've got these two moons. I do different readings now. I don't do card readings right now. I did my own cards. I designed my own decks. I have probably, around 10 decks that I have in different planning stages. But originally in Procreate, I painted all my cards and created 2 different decks, one an Oracle and then one a tarot deck. And as soon as I created my own decks, I didn't want to use anything but my own deck. And so I just haven't felt like doing readings since. Recently I started painting using watercolor, a deck, and I'm halfway through it. So we'll see how long it takes me to finish painting that one. It could be ready anytime, depending on how much I want to paint, and or it just that's all. And then I could be using my own cards on here. That's a possibility as well. But no, today is all about just learning about what the living sky is doing and how we can approach the energies of the month. This is based on True Sidereal or the living sky. This also includes the 13th sign of Ophiuchus. Through my study of all the different things that I've studied, but through my study of astrology and of True Sidereal, I have created a course called Christic Astrology. This is it's an amazing course that's going to teach you how to read your chart, how to work with the personal planets. It's going to be amazing, and there's a founder's price, so it's only listed at this price this time, so you can check that out. I'll keep talking about it, and more information will be available at the website later on. But today we're going to go back to, hi, it's March 1st. Let's find out what we're looking at for March according to the living sky. So where are the planets right now, and where are they going to be through March? We were just talking about there's two major lunar events. One's a full moon, the other's a new moon. The full moon happens to be a lunar eclipse full moon, and it's in the sign of Leo. When we have, then this is, I was talking about check your area where you are for when it is the best to view it, because it does have quite a long time in which you can view either partial or full, and then again partial. So look in your area for where that would be. When we're looking at the Leo full moon, this eclipse is going to illuminate leadership, identity, and authentic self-expression, because that is the fire energy of Leo. Leo is powered by passion of the heart and sits in that solar sun radiant energy of this is me. And that's beautiful energy. So whenever Leo is on the scene, or that Leo energy is in there, it's always asking you to align with your authenticity, to be expressive, and to also to look at leadership, right? Leo is leadership energy. Then we move to the March 18th new moon, and that is March 18th new moon, which is in Pisces. So this lunation is going to encourage emotional reset and spiritual reflection, and also intuitive direction. That's two different powerful energies, right? So together, these phases are going to create a powerful arc for the month. In the early March, we're going to have that revelation, followed by later March, where we get the emotional renewal and quiet alignment. It's going to be a powerful month. Our monthly themes in March, we're moving from 3 developmental stages. We start with the Leo eclipse illuminating the truth. We get the recalibration through the Mercury retrograde, and then we go into the renewal with Pisces into that spiritual alignment. So understanding this sequence allows us to approach this month deliberately rather than reacting to individual events as they are. All right. Let's talk about our week now. So we're Sunday to Saturday, March 7th. We are preparing right now for the lunar eclipse on March 3rd. And this is while the sun is continuing through Aquarius and Mercury is deepening into Pisces. This week carries a strong dynamic between the collective awareness that Aquarius brings to the scene and the individual courage and expression that the Leo moon is going to give us early in the week, because it's in the Leo moon right now, and it'll be there on the 3rd. All right, so right now we've got the sun in Aquarius, Mercury is in Pisces, Venus is in Aquarius, Mars is in Aquarius, Saturn is in Pisces, and the moon is going to transit from Leo that lunar full eclipse on the full moon, sorry. Then we have Virgo, and finally on March 7th, it's going to go into Leo. This sequence is moving us from that expressive energy of Leo into the refinement energy of Virgo into the balanced energy of Libra. The eclipse is going to act as a spotlight, revealing where authentic leadership or self-expression is ready to emerge. All right, so let's talk about this eclipse a little bit. I'm going to have a sip of tea first because it's hot. And you can drop a comment, say where you're from, which one are you watching on? What are you feeling with the energies right now? You know, how are you dealing with them all? And there's a difference, right? There's a difference between how are you dealing with personal energies or how are you dealing with collective energies, and how are your energetic boundaries? That's an important thing. Oh no, that deserves a second step. Okay, who's a tea drinker? Hands up. Hands up for tea drinkers. You know, the perfect temperature. Even a coffee drinker, anyone that likes a warm drink, you know, and you have the perfect temperature. Lemon balm with hibiscus. Delicious. I'm going to name it that. Lemon balm with hibiscus. Delicious. This is perfect. But you know what I mean when it's that perfect temperature. Okay, I got to turn lights on, guys. I forgot. I haven't done a late live in a while. Oh, hang on a second. Oh. That might be good enough. We'll have to, hopefully the curtain, the lighting adjusts properly. Okay, let's talk about this eclipse now. Right? But there's the perfect temperature. And then you don't want to stop drinking it for a minute. You want to be like, yep. Yeah, that's nice too. Okay, so we have the Leo eclipse and this full moon eclipse on March 3rd. I was having a hard time saying March. February felt like it was like a week long. Okay, maybe 2, but it sure the heck it went by fast for me. That's all I can say. So Leo governs the heart, courage, and visible leadership. A lunar eclipse is intensifying the normal full moon dynamic. So instead of gradual illumination, eclipses often reveal the truth really quickly or dramatically. So the types of truths that may be seen at this time are recognition of personal leadership, creative expression seeking visibility, and emotional reactions tied to identity or pride. And we've been seeing a lot of that in society as is, like just in general. There's been a lot of that energy, right? And especially identity and pride. So we're going to see that intensify. Healthy Leo expression is courageous honesty. It is creative self-expression, and it's also leading through example. Leo is heart-led energy. So when we're talking about that honesty, that's honesty that comes from the heart, and it's often paired with vulnerability. That's the healthy expression of it. But unfortunately, we get a lot of unhealthy energy, right? Most of the energy that we see in society these days is the toxic or distorted or dysregulated energy. And that means that we get ego-driven reactions, we get attention seeking, and we get emotional drama. So we're going to see this around us this week. Remember, not your circus, not your monkeys. You're meant to not get invested in it, right? Feel your emotions, don't become them, right? That was another one that we used to say, feel them, don't become them. All right, so the practice this week is going to learn how to express your truth without requiring validation. Yeah, that's important. The truth just is, it just is. You don't need anyone, you don't need confirmation from somebody. You don't need their agreements. You don't need to be told you're right, right? That's what we're going to get from that. Okay. We also move then to Virgo, right? So after we have Virgo, after we have the eclipse with the moon, we move into Virgo. And Virgo is the sign of refinement and practical adjustment. So the emotional intensity of the eclipse begins to settle, and the focus shifts towards practical questions like what changes are actually needed? What small improvements will stabilize the insights that appear? Virgo is going to think in terms of, I love using the example of a marathon runner because that's something many people can really understand, that if you want to be a marathon runner, you have to put your shoes on, you have to lace them up, you have to go outside, you have to run. And there's probably a whole host of other things that you need to do, including diet and so on and so forth, right? It's an endurance thing. You need to prepare yourself for that endurance. You couldn't be a couch potatoes, go run a marathon. You just can't do that. So Virgo's the guy that's saying, okay, well then we need to do these things. And this is the structured way to do it. When you can take yourself out of the thought that discipline is bad, because we most oftentimes equate discipline as punishment because of childhood, right? You're getting disciplined because you did something wrong. But discipline was never about that. Discipline should have been taught to us as devotion, right? So when you are disciplined in your life, you have devotion to the thing that matters to you. And that could be running a marathon. You're devoted to running a marathon. So through that devotion, you are disciplined in how much exercise that you're getting, how, like, your plan, you have a plan. And, you're also looking at your diet and other things as well. You're looking at all the pieces that go together for that. So Virgo teaches that transformation often occurs through incremental improvement rather than dramatic change. Virgo's not dramatic. Maybe if they've been, like holding Virgo can be. Let's not say that Virgo can't be. Anybody has the power under any sign to be dramatic. Then when we move past the Virgo, we move into Libra. It makes sense when you start to understand each of the signs and how we go through the signs in the circular pattern each week, each month, each day with, certain things. So it's important for us to understand. And when you see it, it makes sense. It makes sense how things have moved energetically, across the entire society, the collective. And it makes sense when you apply it to your life, how it's energetically affected you, or how your life has went along that same spiral through the signs. So when we get to Libra, which is at the very end of the week, it's actually on Saturday, Libra is going to restore equilibrium after that emotional intensity. So relationships, agreements, and conversations are going to become the focus. And Libra's Lady Justice, but it's about balance and harmony. Okay. It's about fairness. So that's a great energy to come in after we move through that refinement phase, which is more of a personal thing. Now we move into Libra, which is about the other. And this will make us look at right relationship. That's another thing that Libra energy gives us. So the question that we're going to have on Saturday, and Saturday is not necessarily the rest day that we think of it as, given that it is governed by Saturn. It's more about responsibility and structure and also discipline. So on Saturday, we're going to be asking ourselves these questions. Are my actions aligned with fairness and balance, Libra energy? And then, are my decisions respecting the people around me, because they're right relationship, and you have to be in right relationship too, not just with yourself. But Libra is going to remind us that leadership always exists within relationships. Always. All right. So we're going to do an embodiment practice because, that's what I like to do every week. So we're going to, or every time I have a live, I make you do an embodiment practice. But how do you feel about the week? I don't do it that way. I would do a synastry compatible, like a synastry reading, and I would read your entire chart versus their entire chart and look at how your communication pattern is in your signs of Mercury, how you show up in relationships, right? Because there are you need to have some polarity so that you have chemistry within the relationship, but you don't want that polarity to show up in areas that's going to make you toxic. Relationships aren't, I do a list of your communication compatibility score out of 10. Like I'll do it out of 10 and I'll give you an overall relationship score. Every relationship can work if you're aware of the things that are within the relationship that need it. It's just that it may require more work, more conscious effort, right? And so it depends on how much conscious effort do you want to continually put into your relationship. So if your relationship, say, got a 6 out of 10 as like in the scoring matrix as an overall score, that just means that 40% of your relationship, you're going to have to consciously put effort into, to assure that, you're not, because you'd be speaking differently or energetically running differently. And, people can sometimes think that having complete polar opposites in energy might be a great thing, but it might not be. If you're somebody that wants to go slow and go with the flow and be chill, and you've got somebody else that has drive and ambition and whatever, I mean, you guys are flowing at two different things. And you might think for a week or two that it'd be great to slow down, and they might think it'd be great to speed up. But long term, it could be not, right? And that's only something that individual relationship and all the other stuff that comes in, into the score, into the part of it that they would ultimately have to decide. But I do that for non-romantic relationships as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't work in terms of off and on. And if it's complicated, it's just not right. If it's complicated, it's karma. If it's complicated, it's a lesson. So how much is the lesson worth? Yeah, that's typically what that is. Like more like yeah. I just go slow. Everything you can do, just go slow. And if your mom's telling you to smarten up, listen to her. Okay. It's like this. I'm sitting over here in my house, and all I know is the little bits that you share with me here in this moment. And it's pretty easy for me to go, you know what you should do? You should do this. It's pretty easy for me to go, I feel like, but it's your life. Doesn't even matter. The only thing that is going to matter is the decisions that you're going to make. Now, I firmly believe that we seek out somebody for the answers that we know, but are not willing to admit to ourselves because we want to hear it from that external source. We sit and go, please, 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 please tell me that this is good. Please tell me that this guy's the one. Please tell me that we're compatible. Please tell me this is my twin flame or my soulmate or my whatever ever after. But you're being brought by your higher self, and your higher self is saying, come to this person because this person's going to speak in terms of reality, and maybe you'll hear it from them. Right? Thank you for all the likes, Ergel. You're the only one that knows, right? You're the only one that, and it's your life. It's your life, right? It's your life, good or bad, lesson or experience, right? It's your life. And I know you, Cheyenne. You won't listen to me. You'll do what you want to do anyway, right? I know. Go slow. That's my opinion. Go slow. All right, we're going to do our embodiment practice. Okay. We got way off track, but let's do our embodiment practice. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to, if you're capable of sitting for a moment with your eyes closed in silence, that'd be great. All right. So let's sit in silence for a moment and close your eyes. Now, you can put your attention on your heart just by putting it on there, or you can place your hand over your chest. I like the left hand on my chest. And just put your awareness behind your hand. You can slow down and deepen your breathing. This may be the only time today that you've slowed down enough to take in one deep breath all the way into your tummy. And then out nice and slow. Maybe that one felt so good that you decide to take another one. And you say to yourself, well, you might as well do 3 because, 3 is the magic number, right? Another breath in. And out. Now, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Where are you being asked to express truth more clearly? Where am I being asked to express truth more clearly? It'll be the first thing that comes up. And if it's coming from your higher self or your oversoul, remember, it'll be clear and concise. If it's your ego, it gets kind of wishy-washy and, well, maybe, or we could do this, or da 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 da. Your ego can be quite the little run-along sentence, for sure. Your ego is not certain. It can be, but now that you have that, I want you to choose one small action this week that demonstrates courage. That Leo moon. And remember, consistency matters more than intensity. Okay? All right. Whenever you want, you can come back to this moment. And if you want to share what came up, you can. Be brave. Maybe that's your one small action of courage, is to share in the comments. Could be. All right. So this sky this week reflects cycles of illumination and integration. Integration. I almost said integrity. Integrityation. I've been mashing integrity and integration into one word. Oh my goodness. So this week is going to begin with that revelation, and then it's moving towards refinement with Virgo. So Leo is the revelation, the full moon, eclipse, revelation. And then we move into Virgo refinement. And then finally, at the end on Saturday, we go into that Libra balance. So walk through this week slowly, slow enough to observe what's being revealed. And remember, when we move with the rhythm of the sky, clarity becomes easier, right? It becomes easier. So thank you for walking the sky with me. It's lots of fun. I love working with the energy of the sky now. When I work with the true sky, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Welcome. I'll call you Nicole. I would do the dad thing and say, hi, New, I'm Tanya. Or Sharia. That's my soul name is Sharia. My earth name's Tanya, I guess. I'm fantastic. I just moved to Sunday, and I think it was the best thing ever because I love my energy on Sunday. I always have. And, when you're working on a Sunday, you're utilizing the sun, the radiant energy. It's about expression. So it's a beautiful day to express yourself. And why not talk about the week ahead and start on a March 1st and a Sunday of all things to launch it. So every week on Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll talk about the living sky or true sidereal. Whenever I'm talking about anything celestially, I am talking about how it is in the sky right now. I'm not concerned with working with the sky frozen 2,000 years ago. I don't think the people that are doing their rituals and stuff are working with outdated information. I think they're working with a living sky. And I think that's how they tend to lose our energy is when we're not working with the right energies, and we're working with a moon that's a bit off by one sign. We also don't, in tropical astrology, they don't concern themselves with the Ophiuchus sign, and in True Sidereal, that's brought back in, which I think is important. And so yeah. Every week we'll be doing that. And then on Wednesday, I used to go live Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this week in March, I am changing it to go live on Sundays and Wednesdays. There may be surprise lives somewhere else during the week, but these will be the consistent lives. So the one live will be Sundays at 6 p.m. where I will go over the living sky and how to work with the energies of the sky. And hi, Boo, how are you? And how to work with the energies of the week. And like I said, working with the living sky. And then on Wednesdays, I'm going to talk about Christ consciousness and the living way. And it's not to be anything to get scared about. Because it's just really talking about how to live with integrity, compassion, and responsibility. But it's also in the sense of working with ourselves like the divine beings that we are, the energies that we are, working with sound, working with, like I have a bunch of things, education that's in the works on a variety of different topics. But the first one that's coming up is Christic Astrology on March 20th. And that's where you can learn all about your working with the sky and your natal chart with the 6 personal planets. We'll go into deeper planets in deeper courses. It is a certificate course. Christic Astrology is my thing. It is utilizing True Sidereal, working with the living sky, along with Christic Astrology, which is the concept of removing the distortions out of the signs and the planets, and working with it the way that we're supposed to work with it. So yeah, that's that. How are you? How's your weekend? Hi, Chexie. How are you? I don't know if Chexie stayed. Say hi. If I look over there, it's because for Facebook and YouTube channels, I have you there, but your comments are there. So if you comment, so I just have to keep checking over there. I have a second monitor, so I put the comments on the second monitor, so it makes it easier for me to see them. But it does mean that I'm looking differently when I'm looking at them. Yeah. How are you? How was your weekend? What are you up to? What are your plans? Hi, Angelica. Nice. What are you having for dinner? I'm probably going to have an apple after this because I tried to eat dinner earlier. Nice. Nice. I made a roast on Sunday, a beef roast. I don't eat pork at all. But I made a beef roast on Sunday. I go through my list, right? So my list of things is I grew it, I made it, I cooked it, like all of it came from me. My second thing is local organic. And then the next thing would be organic. Organic and local, it's iffy. It depends on what it is. It depends on what it is, it's organic or local. And then finally, it would be something from a big box store. So if I do eat meat, like I get grass-fed Alberta beef here, and I only get it once in a while. I don't eat very much meat, but I do have it occasionally. And like I said, I'll make sure that I get it from a local farm and that it's grass-fed and it's delicious. It's delicious. But someday it'll phase out. Someday. Yeah. So yeah, on Sunday nights we do the check-in, and then on Wednesdays, we're just going to talk about living in integrity, compassion, responsibility. We'll talk about all kinds of different things on that live. And yeah, if you're looking for stuff like this, stick around or go check out Anshara'El.com and join the free group, Temple of Light. It's absolutely free, completely free. And you join and do however much you want. You'd have to go into the group and watch a video or go into the group and read what's there. So you're not spammed with it and it's free. But I post a lot of cool stuff in there. So go check it out. Go enjoy your supper. We'll talk later this week at some time, I'm sure. Hi, JJ. Love you too. Yeah, it's completely free. Go check out the group. It's completely free. But I'm going to hop off here and I am going to go and enjoy the rest of my evening and bring this over here. So if I missed any comments, I'm definitely checking them out now. And see me back here on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I don't start until 6:30 p.m. So, and that might get adjusted. I'm trying 6:30 because I think 7 would be the best time, but I don't know if I really want to go at 7. So I think 6:30 might be the best time. But anyway, have a wonderful time. Check back in on the live. If this stuff was, helped you, then share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your friends or come and watch it again. Comment, like, share, all the good stuff. Mwah. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and sharing and gifts and likes and all of that. Bye, guys. Oh, I'm going to end this one.